what do you think is the problem? Is it a problem of consumption? Because you also raised it. Do we really know how much we consume as a people in Nigeria?
Honestly, I think it was 3 days ago, a few days ago, I did a video because I was driving and I saw the queues, and I was really moved to see how the pain, the frustration that people were going through because of the queues. It didn't need to be like this, honestly. Totally doesn't need to be like this.
Is there something we could have done differently?
Definitely. When I think about this, maybe because, as you say, I moved this motion 2011, there's anger when I think about it. If you remember in 2011 when I moved that motion, we're talking about then that we're consuming 30 to 35 million litres a day. And we said at that time that that was even too much. We took steps and made recommendations following my motion. And the then government under the Ministry of Finance, then it was Ngozi Kujawela, took certain steps that resulted in government seeing reduction in subsidy by about $500 million. Now today to say we're going to be spending $3 trillion, it's
not adding up from your own view?
It's not the adding up issue. Definitely it's not adding up. How can anybody see Nigerians go through this? Now I'm told that we consume 70 million litres here. It's not possible.
What do you think we could be possibly consuming right now?
We cannot be consuming more than 30 to 45 million litres.
So where would there
is no doubt that those litres of fuel are going across the border. And government is turning a blind eye. It's not possible. Impossible.
These people in government that are doing this?
Look,
the racketeer. I mean, you're saying that there's a possible racketeer.
It is not possible for us to consume, and for us to be helpless and say, oh, it's being smuggled, or it's going to West African. We can't do that. We can't. We must look at what Nigerians are going through. Look, I remember even in 2016 when I was Senate President, we had been able to find a solution to this. Then the Minister of State, Kachukwu, was there. And with leadership of myself, leadership of the House and Senate, we sat down. And we got us out of this mess. With the buying of Mr. President, we were able to get out of the subsidy. I don't know what happened later on when it was reversed. Even if we have to have fuel subsidy, 50% of this can be saved. 50% of this can be saved. There is no way, I challenge him that we are consuming 70 million litres.
You think that some people are benefiting?
Don't use think. Don't use think.
Some people are benefiting from this.
I'm not thinking. 70 million litres is impossible. Now we're in danger now of going up to 6 trillion. 6 trillion on subsidy. Just because a few people are benefiting. This is a matter that requires government. You can't even wait for people. So nowadays everybody is in 2023 mood. This is something that cannot wait for 2023. Government now must take responsibility and hold people accountable.
If you have the power to change things, what would you do differently?
Definitely we must change the way subsidies is being managed. We must ensure that the right people, the vulnerable people, get it. Not so also subsidize our neighboring countries. There is no, look, you drive around the petrol station. Do you see evidence of 70 million litres consumption? Don't forget, even in 2020 when there was lockdown, we're still claiming to have been consuming 50 million litres. How is that possible? We're not being fair to the masses. This is honestly. I feel, because I've spent time studying this thing, and I understand it. We must immediately stop the smuggling of products. We must be able to do a research, assess the true consumption. Egypt in 2016 were in the same position with us. But they've used technology, they've used their identification system plus smart card to be able to, look, even if you want to give subsidy, let's do the sums. Over half of that, I promise you, is just wastage. And this is the kind of things that we must, when we say that for us to reset this country, we must put an end to this kind of thing.
If you were number one man today, who would you hold responsible? for this so-called racketeering and smuggling and insincerity in the numbers.
It's not a question of holding. Government itself must be held responsible. It's not about an individual. Clearly, the point number one is that we cannot be spending 70 million, we cannot be consuming 70 million litres. We should be able to have a research that tells us, and if we're going to subsidize, then we subsidize at the actual amount that is possible. Look, when I was senator at that time, I even did research, got information from Lloyd's Register to look at vessels that were meant to be in Nigeria were in other parts of the world. There is no way that vessels of 70 million litres daily consumption is staying in this country.
And these are perpetrated by highly placed people.
They must be, because there must be. It's not, and I think it's time that we really face this head on. It's not fair to Nigerians. But again, because now the crude oil price is going up, we're not going to benefit from it. Because as crude oil price goes up, the subsidy bill goes up.